What's up, everybody? This is Ripples and Whales back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and having a great day wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing. It's 6:31 a.m. here. I've been up since 5 this morning. Some days you just fancy getting up and getting on the hustle early, and it's one of them days. It's Sunday, so I've got a bit of time off today. It's the day of rest, but we're going to kick into some stuff straight away. Little interesting fact, I just came downstairs to where I live here this morning, and probably about 5:30 a.m. and I was just doing some research for this video, and I heard a very unwanted friend in the timbers of our kitchen. It seems like we have a rather large rat running around, or furry friend in the timbers, so I'm going to have to bait some traps later on. Humane ones, I'll catch him alive and I'll take him to a park, but by the sounds of things, it's a big fella, and I only heard him because I was down here early. Anyhow, that's my job for a Sunday afternoon. Do not want a unwanted furry friend in the timbers of your roof. They'll chew through all your wires. Anyhow, without further ado, let's crack on. So, this is my Twitter profile, Ripples and Whales. Please give us a follow. And so, just wanted to touch on a couple of things today to do with Bitcoin. This video today is going to be about Bitcoin. It's going to be about XRP and Bitcoin, and it's going to be about, I believe that there is a fight between light and dark going on in many ways. We can see Bitcoin broke the $30,000 mark yesterday. Ethereum also has rallied up 5%, Bitcoin's up 11% as the liquidity starts to pour back into the markets. On the TA chart, you can see Bitcoin breaking, or just about to hit the shoulder line of this previous ATH in this relief rally here in 2023. And it's made considerable gains since at the bottom of $16,000. It's almost doubled its value, which is rather impeccable. And so good to see the liquidity coming back to Bitcoin, because as Bitcoin thrives in the community, so do all the other assets. But I think Bitcoin's got a bit of a checkered past, and we're going to have a little bit of a look into that today. And with the premise that I don't think Bitcoin is ever going to be a fully fledged payment asset or currency. I think it'll be pushed to the side as a store of value. I think it's an excellent technology, just like you all probably think, but I think it's very early technology, and one that has seemed to garner the attention from the wrong sorts. I think that it was maybe a flight of safety from the old guard, from the old elites, and they were using it as a tool to prosper in the event that they knew that the system would eventually fall over on the weight of itself. And what do I mean by the system fall over on the weight of itself? I mean stocks, I mean bonds, I mean treasuries, I mean derivatives, I mean futures, of all these synthetic assets that have been built upon the foundation of a fake money layer unattached to gold. And they knew this was coming. And so many moons ago, I think that they planned this out into very great detail so that they could have a flight to safety. And, you know, this has been talked about again and again by DAI and other people in the community. And we're going to just have a little bit of a look at it today. There was something fascinating that popped up yesterday by Whale Wire, and this was covered by Wheezy, I think it was. Just let me see here. Who was it? I think it was Wheezy or Riz XRP. Are we going to go back? No, are we? Just to find out who the author of the tweet was that showed it to us. I believe it was Wheezy. There we go. And I saw this, and he said, intentional backdoors discovered in the BTC Lightning Network. The creator of the original white paper of the Lightning Network is none other than Joseph Poon, said to be part of the shadow government controlling Vitalik, according to Laura Shin. Now, very interesting. Now, this takes us back to China. This takes us back to the Ethereum governing councils. This takes us back to Consensus. This takes us to JP Morgan. And it's the same old crowd, isn't it, that are implicated potentially. We don't know that's the case, but let's look at the data, what we've got in front of us. And this is by the Whale Wire, breaking one of the top Bitcoin developers recently discovered a massive security risk in the Lightning Network, which triggered him to announce his departure from the project. He claims there is an intentional backdoor into the code which allows attackers to get full control of the network. Let's not forget that the main backers of the Lightning Network are Tether, Bitfinex and Blockstream, all run by fraudsters. So who's surprised? Oh, and of course the maximalists and corrupt mainstream media news channels will be dead silent about this. Now this is something I've said over and over again. The amount of attention that the Bitcoin community and ETFs are garnering right now is unbelievable. They are winding their huge media outlet piece up again, and you can sense it, can't you? It's the same kind of MSM vibe as the pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, the beer flu. I think that's how Working Money Channel talks about it. But the same kind of vibe, right? You know, when you get this enormous push of the Bitcoin, and I don't think we've even begun yet. Wait till they start to pull the masses in. You've got BlackRock and all these other people attached to it, right? Okay. So there is an email here saying, which covers basically a letter from this developer, which is Anton Riard, and he's obviously a Bitcoin developer on the Lightning Network, and he talks about saying that he's found multiple risks, and he's mentioned it to a number of people, but it seems that no one's taking any notice, and that he is removing himself from that part of the project. Okay. He was saying, what was the here we go. I think this is a new class of replacement cycling attack that puts Lightning in a very perilous position where only a sustainable fix can happen at the very base layer, e.g. adding a memory-intensive history of all seen transactions or some consensus upgrade. Deployed mitigations are worth something in face of simple attacks, though I don't think they are stopping at advanced attacks. As I said in the full disclosure email, this is really interesting, okay? We knew at some point in time that Bitcoin would come into the focus of the crosshairs. This is the first kind of thing that I've seen or come across. And that's a massive thing. We've seen, what have I got here now? We've heard this, and I want to play this for you by Ross Vandermeer. Okay, this is just a small excerpt of his video.
It is February 6th, 2020. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is about time. I, Ross Vandermeer, also known as Marvin Gaye, am leaving this one last message to you all. Before I take a step, please understand that I am not here to gain any credibility or popularity. It is your choice to accept my voice. Those who have ears will hear. Do you remember what I have been talking about all year long? The rise of digital economy and finance, cryptocurrencies, fall of old guards, fall of Bitcoin.
That was the bit I wanted you to hear, the fall of Bitcoin. Now, I don't know what that means. I really don't, and I've been searching for a while. But let's just have that in our mindsets. He says the fall of Bitcoin. Okay, now, this guy, Ross Vandermeer, is a fascinating chap, and he talks about the fall of Bitcoin. Now, whilst we're talking about Ross Vandermeer, let's have a look at the images that he brought up a while ago and he released. These were two of the most powerful images I've ever seen. Okay, we'll look at them both in context. First of all, this was the first one, the deep state, showing you the kind of the tentacles. It was the first rendition of the major one that you saw with Trump and his hand up in the air. This was the early edition of this. What I want to bring your attention to is the Bitcoin on the far right hand side, connected to this fraternity here, and the gold connected to Bitcoin and these guys here. Okay, and I want you to connect these guys, and these guys particularly. Okay, and I want you to think of Bitcoin potentially as a flight to safety, because maybe their gold was confiscated. If we're going through what we think we may be going through on the planet, and that being a controlled demolition of the old guard, then there would be assets frozen. However, one way to bypass an asset frozen basis would be a flight to safety on some sort of digital assets, and I want you to hold that in your consciousness. We talked earlier on in the video also about a dark to light. Hold on for a minute. Yeah, this one. a dark to light system between Bitcoin and XRP. And why? Where do I get this idea from? Why do I see a battle between, you know, Bitcoin and these entities? Well, we've got the same entity in the center here. I'm being very cautious about how what I name and how I say things, because YouTube has a very clever AI algorithm that tracks what you say and then removes your videos or shadow bans them. We've seen on his hand there is the same logo as Bitcoin, and we've got gold here. Now, the problem is all these pathways that these entities were using to control the planet, all of them were likely frozen of sorts, I dare say, and that they were likely to be looking for a flight to safety out of those frozen assets. And this is why potentially we have this gold and Bitcoin on its scales here, so that they could have an outlet, a way out. Now, this is just one theory, but you see, when you have your assets frozen, you have to have a subsidiary asset to move into. Okay, and on the top left-hand corner here, we've got the fight between this, our native token XRP on the XRPL, and we've got Bitcoin. And so we can see there was going to be a battle for a currency here. There's no doubt that Bitcoin was created by some sort of three-letter agency. We'll look at that in a minute, very briefly, and created on the behalf of other higher power actors in the globe to enable them to have some sort of flight to safety and to give them an opportunity to move out of certain assets into others. Migrating from an old system into the new, very, very clever. We have here, I just want to also show you on Bearable Guy's Twitter handle, we can go to Lodestar3, which I've already opened up, and I want to bring you to something Bearable Guy talked about Bitcoin here. He said the wildcard Bitcoin was caused a bit of a stir a few years back, but after the dust settled, they all realized that such an unpredictable instrument with a habit of playing off-key controlled by such a large entity could not be contained in the way they were used to. Right, and I want to bring you to the particular words that he used there, was the wildcard Bitcoin caused a stir a few years back, but after the dust settled, they all realized that such an unprecedented instrument, which a habit of playing off-key, we have the Ripple Riddler on the piano above the cloud line. Now, this is the old faded suit of the bankers, not the new. This is the old guard, okay, in this picture. He has the faded suit. If you remember, there is a difference between the old and the new. How do we know? Look at the colours. New glove, very fresh purple glove with the rich leather on it. And we have the old bleeded out purple suits, okay? And that was the giveaway that Sam found back in the day, threadbare kind of old suits. Now, the same style we've got here, the old threadbare, suits, an unpredictable instrument controlled by a large entity, central banks, governments, and the other guys we saw in the pictures, but Ross Vandermeer. So there is something going to go on with Bitcoin. I don't know. I've got Bitcoin. I don't have a huge amount, but my eyes are firmly on a position where when I saw this data drop about the backdoor and lightning network, it just got my spidey senses up. Okay, so we've looked at that now. We've looked at Ross Vandermeer talking about BTC. We've looked at the Ripple Riddler mentioning BTC. We've looked at also BG123 mentioning BTC, all in the same kind of sense that this instrument cannot be trusted. It is being co-opted, and I'm paraphrasing in my own words. It's being co-opted. It's controlled by CCP or other actors that are connected to the other order, the old PTB, and it can't be trusted by the new order. And so, what's going to occur here? We can go back also to the Christmas scene, and we can see that, there's a gavel above BTC in this level playing field. We've got the Phoenix rising. It seems Bitcoin's going on a tear. I mean, watching Blockchain Backers videos past couple of days, we're likely to see an incredible bull market for Bitcoin in the coming years. That doesn't mean that there's a battle going on, though. When Bitcoin does well, everything does well. This is not to slate Bitcoin. I'm not here to bash Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I think it's fantastic. However, we've got to look at this in a real manner and see, right, what is going on. We mustn't be naive to the fact that there is huge entities all wanting to get out of certain assets and wanting a bloody flight to safety. Okay, and that's what it's being used for, in my humble opinion. Okay, and so I just keep my eye on what's going on with this, with BTC. And we can see further on in other pictures, we see that there's a change of order again with magnitude of Bitcoin over XRP, and we see that there's a change in tide in terms of how the world may look at those two digital assets in comparison to one another. Right, moving swiftly on. That is a great picture by Ross van der Meer. That's take a screen capture of these, by all means. Photo booth them in case this channel gets pulled off. Now, what else did I want to cover? Right, at the same time, we've got this narrative of Ethereum and ETHgate and all this other stuff. If you do a simple search for ETHgate on here, you will find a ton of stuff. And this very courageous man, Steven Nareoff, is the kind of the top person, I'd say, in this space, who's been helping the community figure out what's what here. The reason I bring Ethereum into this kind of whole mix is that I wanted to kind of title this video, There'll Only Be One. And I'm going to come back to this. There'll only be one. And we're talking about one as in one chain that's used for currency. I've always felt this. I've always felt that there would be some sort of controls or systems brought in on Bitcoin. And this is where I kind of start to see the change in tide. We've got all the corruption coming out with SBF, which is going to find itself all the way into the other coins, into the VC-backed tokens, Solana, and all the rest of these. We're going to see it find its way to Ethereum, and eventually we're going to see it find its way to Bitcoin. Okay, and that leaves one then that's connected to a currency, which is a dollar, and the dollar is the global reserve world currency. And it's going to be the global reserve world currency in the form of a stable coin or multiple stable coins and maybe multiple CBDCs in the future. And there's one token that will help back that and push it forward into this new era, and every other currency, in fact, on a level playing field, as we've heard all these words before. And so we're looking at the change in order here of all these other want-to-be currencies that have had very shady and checkered pasts, and it's starting to come into the light. Go look up ETHgate. It's been covered by Wheezy, it's been covered by Riz, DAI has been booted off Twitter covering it. It's huge. And Steven Nareoff and this guy Truth Labs, he's having a really rough time at the minute. He reckons there's a potential attempt being made on his life for the second time. And I don't doubt his credibility. He's a very trustworthy character, and so is Steven Nareoff, and they are fighting the good fight. Okay, we can also go back to a little excerpt by Cointelegraph with the Bitcoin was invented by NSA, and Raoul Pal has talked about this before, and Nick Carter has come out to reiterate his support for the favorite theory of the United States national security has something to do with the creation of Bitcoin. Raoul Pal discussed this before as well. We can look also at a patent in 1989 by no other than David Schwartz on DLT, 1989, David Schwartz. Okay, David Schwartz worked for the NSA. David Schwartz has connections to Satoshi, if you don't think. 1988, what did we have? We had the cover of The Economist bringing the Phoenix out on the front cover. There is so much here for you all. I hope you see that there is a bigger picture here, and this was the beginnings of the thought bases around a distributed ledger and a money system that was digital back 30 odd years ago. There's no accidents. These things are planned 50, 100 years in advance by the governments of the world. So let's close this off by looking at this Christmas image once again, and I want to kind of entitle this video "There'll Only Be One" or something of a similar sort. We're going to see the separation over the next 3 years of the wheat from the chaff, and the fraudulent and bad actors in the space are going to be revealed as the tide runs out. And I think we're going to see it in the most incredible spectacle, and we're going to have a very interesting time observing it. And so, you know, I always come back to this one image of that there will only be one currency or one blockchain backing currency, and they're on the mantelpiece. There are two currently, only one with a legal precedent, which is so important, you know, the legal precedent that something isn't a security. Now, we haven't had a definition of what it is yet, but the point is, Bitcoin went under the radar because it was let through the various corrupt administrations on the planet to grow into the behemoth that it was. If they didn't want it, they would have shut it down within a heartbeat. Okay? Make no mistake of it. Again, I like Bitcoin. I love the technology. I love the idea of this libertarian idea that you have self-sovereignty of your own property. For that, it is unbelievable. You know, digital property that you can have that's uncensorable, it's unbelievable. But I don't believe it'll be currency. And I believe that the new order that's taking shape now, they won't allow it. And we know which one will be currency. And currency, and not in the way that you think. You will never spend these tokens that you hold in XRP. They are used behind the scenes on a very deep layer to help bridge other CBDCs and payments across the planet. They are the infrastructure. You own part of the infrastructure. A fascinating time to be alive and to witness. And we are very, very lucky to see the beginnings of this journey. As Christine Lagarde yesterday, we are on a journey. She's talking about the digital euro. Okay, now what will bridge the digital euro? Potentially a unipolar asset that's on a blockchain like the XRPL. Anyhow, we will give that a finish there. We'll give that a finish. We will finish that there. And I'm probably going to do some more research on another video now. I hope that's good. I hope you all have a great Sunday and look forward to see you all in the next video. Until then, be blessed.